Welcome folks to the Crazy Chef's Kitchen. Today we're going to make what they call a cutlet. Now for those of you who know what a cutlet is, that's fine. Those of you who do not know what a cutlet is, my version, even for those of you who think you know what it is, my version of a cutlet is a thin piece of meat, tenderized, floured, breaded, egg wash, and then fried. Now that's a cutlet. Now you can use a beef type like a veal. You can use beef. You can use lamb, pork meat, or even chicken. Today we are going to be using the pork loin. Now I want you to notice I bought a Prairie Fresh Natural. This is gluten-free, boneless pork loin, minimally processed, no artificial ingredients. And this is what it looks like, folks. I want you to look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful, look at that. Now, when I was growing up, pork used to have to be cooked well done, because in those days they used to feed them a lot of strange ingredients, so they had bacteria in them. Today, pork is considered the other white meat. And as you can see, like I was showing you, there's no waste. There's no waste. That little bit of fat, that'll disappear. If you don't like it, cut it off, but there is completely no waste. So whatever you pay per pound, you're going to use the whole thing. Now, our other ingredients today are all-purpose flour, and this is going to be used for the pork chop. 2 whole eggs, people. 2 whole eggs. Always remember what I tell you. No ostrich eggs, no quail eggs, people. Chicken eggs. We're going to use 4 ounces of milk is going to be used in this recipe. Just regular homogenized milk, whole milk. And our last ingredient is going to be the breadcrumbs. Now, these breadcrumbs, if you looked at our episode on garlic bread, is made from garlic bread. So when we made the garlic bread, it had margarine, it had granulated garlic, it had whole leaf oregano, and then we toasted it. Well, in this instance, what we did, we toasted it extra, some. We let it get hard, and then we ground it. So we have flavors in here already. For example, the garlic, the salt from the margarine, and the oregano leaves. Now, if you buy plain bread, crumbs with nothing on them, get yourself some dry oregano leaves. My favorite, like you know, is the granulated garlic. Put it into your breadcrumbs to taste, whatever you like. If you like it garlicky, put an extra. It's good for you. Oregano leaves, put a little extra, a little lighter. But like I told you, this one is already from our garlic bread episode. Very good. Now, to start, here's our pork loin. Now we're going to start sliding. Boy, am I crazy. All right, we're going to start slicing. Now, we don't want it too thick. If you can't get a whole pork loin like this from your store, they sell them already cut out in packages, already like this in a package. Buy as many as you might need. Now these we're going to keep slicing until we slice the whole pork loin. Okay, so now we have sliced the whole loin. Now there's a lot of meat here. If you guys are hungry, you can do them all. We're going to do a couple to show you the whole process all the way through. So now the next step is going to be tenderizing. Okay, so now we got our couple of pork chops. God, they look good. Look how lean they are. And we're going to start the tenderizing. Now, tenderizing, you know, when I was a child, I used to go to my grandma's house, and she used to love to have the grandchildren over, and she'd cook us lunch, and I'd be in awe watching her tenderize. She'd make us cutlets and watching her tenderize those cutlets. Today we got a professional tenderizer. I mean, this could knock a hole through the sheetrock. All right? And then we got the little baby one. Now, these can be used to tenderize, or I can tell you, my grandma, she used to tenderize with a beer bottle. And I'm telling you, a good beer bottle is a Modelo. The reason why is because it has a nice grip here, and it has a nice belly here, and it's flat. And you can pound your cutlet. The main thing is try to get it all level, so when it cooks, it's level. Now, if you want the indentations, you use the angle. All right? But that doesn't take it all the way. When my grandpa used to be home, Grandma used a mason jar because she loved canning, and Grandpa didn't like to see her using beer bottles, so she'd use a mason jar or a curd jar, and she would do the same thing. Pound it, and then tenderize it. Now that's the old-fashioned way of doing it. I wanted to show that to you. Now my assistant is going to show you how we do it today. Got to use saran wrap, people. If you don't, the meat's going to stick to your hammer. I'm going to call it a hammer. So there she goes. She's going to tenderize. Now don't beat the hell. Don't take your anger out on it. You want to just tenderize it a little bit. Don't take your anger and make holes and shred it. And make sure you use saran wrap, because otherwise you're going to have meat all over the place. Now see that? Look at that. And let's do this one also. That's nice. Nice and thin now. Beautiful. Do the other side. My assistant's got it. The main thing, people, is to use saran wrap, and don't beat the hell out of it. Make it all nice and level. And so now we're at the stage where we want to do the flouring, the eggs, and then the breadcrumbs. So we'll start doing that. Let's beat the eggs. She's going to put that milk into the eggs from the ingredients that I told you earlier. And I'm telling you, people, my grandma used to give us a slice of this hot off of the pan to us grandchildren sitting around. She'd give it to us, throw us a loaf of bread. We'd put this cutlet between two pieces of bread. If we had tomato, if we had some cheese, we'd throw it in there, whatever she had. And I'm telling you, it's a meal. And as a child, I loved it. It was fantastic. So now we've got our egg mixtures done. Okay, now we have our 3 stages. My beautiful assistant is going to start now with the flour. Press it into the flour. Now don't make too many of these ingredients, because you're going to have to discard this. At least I would recommend you discard it, because it's going to have the bacteria grow from the meat that you put in there. So you can always add a little more flour if you're making more and you need more. She did the egg wash. Now we're going to the breadcrumbs. Now the breadcrumbs, like I told you, is from our garlic bread. So we didn't put any garlic or salt, just from the margarine. If you want garlic and you want more salt, now's the time to do it. Now I got a surprise for you, because I'm the crazy chef. Here we go, people. Cornflakes. And you say, what the hell is the crazy chef doing with cornflakes? Well, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with the cornflakes in just a second. Now, I got some cornflakes and put them into a Ziploc bag. See that? Now my favorite assistant is going to crush some of these. Now don't go crazy, I tell you, don't take your anger out on them. You just want to crush them a little bit. See, she's taking her anger out on them. I like it. There you go. Now that she has them crushed, we're going to put them into a pan. And you're still wondering, what the hell is he doing? Well, I'm going to give my assistant the other pork chop that we tenderized. And she's going to go through the same thing again. A little flour. A little nice egg wash. Get it nice and soaked in there. And we're going to go to cornflakes instead of breadcrumbs. This is going to give it a sweetness, even though the pork is sweet. This is going to give it a sweetness and a crunchiness that you have never tasted before. Look at that, folks. Fantastic. Now that she's got that done, we're going to go to the stove, the range, and we're going to start cooking these up, folks. All right, so we got our saucepan now with the oil in it. You got to have enough oil in there so this will sink into it. Not abundant, just enough so this will sink and get both sides. Now, as far as the oil goes, folks, don't use olive oil. It burns at a very low temperature and it tastes like hell. We're using a canola oil. You can use peanut oil, corn oil, soy oil, whatever oil, because those will go to a higher temp. And the higher the temp, the better they're going to come out. Now we're going to put them in there. As you notice, we have the breadcrumbs and the cornflakes. We're going to start with the breadcrumb. My assistant's going to put the, be careful when you put it in because it's hot, folks. Be careful. Look at that. See? And it just sinks in there. Couple minutes on each side. See how there's just enough oil just so it sinks. You don't want more oil because it's going to foam out and you're going to have a mess and it's dangerous because oil is really hot. Couple minutes on each side. She's going to turn that over. Look at that, folks. That is fantastic. And we're going to, when it's done, we're going to put it into a little paper so it strains that oil, extra or excess oil out of there. Couple of minutes on each side. Be careful when you're working with this because it's really hot and it's dangerous. You get a drop of this on you, you're going to be painful. Now watch this cornflake one, folks. Watch this. This is something else. Look at that. Look at that. When you eat this, it's going to be crunchy on the outside and deliciously sweet. Because pork is sweet to start with, and with those cornflakes, it's amazing. It's going to be spot on. Now let's watch this. It all looks clear over here. Again, a couple minutes on each side. Make sure you're clear all the way around. You don't let the kids get near this because I'm telling you, it is hot. I've been burnt more than once. That's because I'm a crazy chef. I'm not good at it. Couple minutes on each side. And that's all you need, folks. Look at that cornflake one. That's got to be something else. And you know who came up with that? My beautiful assistant. I'm stealing this from her. That's her secret that she is showing you people. I had a hard time getting it out of her myself. She's got fingers like steel. And there it is, people. We're going to let that excess oil get into those paper towels, and then we'll go to our next step. Okay, folks, so now we've got our cornflake, our breadcrumb here. We just took them off the fire. Now, a couple of things my grandma used to do, and I loved it. Remember that tomato sauce, quick tomato sauce we made? Well, here it is. You can get this, put a little bit of tomato sauce on top, get your favorite cheese, whatever that may be, mozzarella, provolone, telemi, Swiss, whatever it is. The way to do it is to get your cutlet, put it in the oven, a preheated oven, 350. Just for about 5 minutes is too long. Maybe 3 minutes with the sauce on it. Turn the oven off and put your cheese and keep an eye on it. As soon as the cheese starts to melt, it's time to come out. We don't want that cheese to disintegrate, people. Now, that tomato sauce is a 10-minute sauce, but if you don't have time, during the summertime, my grandma used to get fresh tomatoes instead of tomato sauce, and she'd put fresh tomato on there, put it in the oven, put that cheese on top. Like I told you, 350. Turn the oven off, put the cheese on and pull it out. And what do you have? You have a Parmesan, people. You have a cutlet Parmesan. Cutlet is this, that's a Parmesan. Okay, now I showed you how to do the Parmesan. I got to go for the cornflake one first, people. Let's cut into that. Look at that. That's why it's called the other white meat, people. That is fantastic. Now that's that one. Same with this one. Look at that. Perfect. Now remember, if you wanted the garlic, salt, and all that other stuff, when to put it in. But I'm telling you, I think it's good just like that. Get yourself some pasta, some rice, some veggies on the side. Did I tell you this was gluten-free? Anyway. You know what? I think I'm going to have a slice of this one. Oh yeah, this one has the garlic. Well, I shouldn't speak with my mouth full. This one has the garlic and the salt. A little spicy, but this one's delicious. Now, remember, we're always here to answer your questions. This is an excellent and quick, inexpensive. Pork is, for the value, is unbelievable. Stay tuned, and we'll be here with you, thinking of you. And please think of us, because we need all the help we can get. Boy, after I ate that, I just thought, you know what is a great idea? Look at that. A lemon on a cutlet. Unbelievable. Look, you squeeze a little lemon on there. Oh yeah. I'm going to put lemon on this one too. Look at that, people. Look at that. Oh, and you know what? You're probably going to ask me, how come that lemon has no seeds? You know why? Because it's a lime, it's not a lemon.